Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be cracking open an ancient text called the Upanishad.
Nice.
And it's part of a larger collection called the Samanya Vedanta Upaniṣhads. And what we're going to be doing today is breaking down some of these fascinating verses and seeing what kind of wisdom we can extract.
It's really like stepping back in time, listening to these conversations between gods and seekers, trying to understand the nature of reality.
Exactly. And the Upanishad begins with this powerful figure named Lord Samoki.
Okay.
And he's seeking guidance from none other than Aditya, the sun god. And what I find interesting is that Samoki is portrayed as being very attached to the world.
Oh.
He's looking for liberation.
Right.
But he can't seem to let go of his worldly ties.
It's a relatable struggle, isn't it? We often find ourselves clinging to the familiar even when we yearn for something more.
Totally. So what wisdom does Aditya, the sun god, offer to this seeker?
Well, Aditya reveals a powerful set of verses called the Kaksamati Vidya. And you can think of these as a series of salutations directed towards the fundamental aspects of existence.
Okay.
It's not like just saying like hello to the universe.
Right.
It's more about acknowledging these core principles of reality with reverence.
Yeah, it sounds like a way of aligning oneself with the cosmic order.
Precisely. And what's fascinating is that the Upanishad suggests that reciting these verses daily can lead to something called Jivan Mukti.
Jivan Mukti, what is that?
Think of it as liberation while still living.
Okay.
It's about experiencing a profound inner freedom, unburdened by the anxieties and limitations of the ego, even while we're still embodied.
Now, that's a concept I think many of us can get behind.
Right.
Living with a sense of liberation amidst the chaos of everyday life.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Absolutely.
But the Upanishad doesn't stop at rituals and verses, does it?
No, it goes much deeper. It delves into the heart of Brahmavidya,
Okay.
the knowledge of Brahman, which is the ultimate reality.
So we're moving beyond sort of specific practices and into the realm of understanding the very nature of existence.
Exactly. And this is where the conversation between Samakati and Aditya gets really interesting.
Okay.
Aditya reveals some profound truths about Brahman, declaring, I am the beginning of all the one, the origin, the quiescence, the end of all the constant, the wasteless, which in reality is the form of supreme sentience.
Wow, that's a powerful statement.
Yeah.
It sounds like Aditya is saying that he embodies everything, the source, the sustainer, the ultimate reality itself.
That's right. And notice how the supreme reality is described as being in a state of quiescence and at ease.
Right.
It's like this perfect stillness and peace that underlies all of existence.
That sounds incredibly inviting.
Yeah.
But how do we mere mortals access this ultimate reality, this Brahman?
Right.
There must be a path, right?
The Upanishad points towards the path of yoga as the means to attain Brahmavidya,
Okay.
but it stresses the importance of conscious and discerning practice.
Okay.
No mindless chanting or poses here.
Right. It's about deep inner work.
So it's not just about going through the motions, but understanding the deeper meaning behind the practice.
Exactly.
Can you tell us more about this yoga that the Upanishad is referring to?
The Upanishad outlines 7 stages of yoga, each representing a progressive step toward liberation.
Okay.
Think of it as a journey, with each stage building upon the previous one.
7 stages. That sounds like quite the journey.
It is.
So tell me about the first stage.
The first stage is all about exploring worldly existence.
Okay.
It's called Avadana Yoga, and it encourages us to really dive deep into our experiences, not to get lost in them, but to understand their true nature and limitations.
So it's about engaging with the world consciously with a discerning eye.
Precisely, we're laying the groundwork for detachment.
Okay.
For seeing through the illusions of the material world.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So once we've explored and understood the nature of worldly existence, what comes next on this yoga journey? The second stage involves detaching from those worldly desires we explored in the first stage.
Okay.
And this happens through deep study and reflection on the scriptures, the sastras.
Interesting.
It's about cultivating wisdom and inner peace.
So trading in Netflix binges for scripture study sessions.
You could say that.
Sounds like my kind of party.
The idea is to shift your focus from external gratification to internal growth.
Yeah.
You're essentially swapping fleeting pleasures for internal truth.
It's like a mental detox.
Exactly.
So we've explored the world, detached from our desires. What happens in the third stage?
The third stage is about cultivating a sense of non-concern for worldly affairs.
Okay.
And the Upanishad describes 2 types.
2 types.
Ordinary and extraordinary.
Now I'm intrigued. What's the difference?
The ordinary type involves finding contentment through renunciation and focusing on the Atman, the true self. It's a bit like retirement for the soul.
Okay.
You find joy and fulfillment from within rather than seeking it in external circumstances.
And the extraordinary type?
The extraordinary type is about completely eradicating desires and realizing the oneness of all existence.
Wow.
It's about experiencing the world as a reflection of the divine.
Okay.
It's a profound shift in perspective.
Wow. That sounds pretty extraordinary indeed.
It is.
So we're moving from contentment to a complete merging with the universe. That's incredible.
It is.
But hold on, we're only on stage 3 of 7.
Right.
What exciting developments await us in stage 4 of our yoga journey?
In stage 4, ignorance is eradicated and one attains a unified vision of existence,
Okay.
seeing the interconnectedness of all things.
So it's like finally putting on those rose-colored glasses, but instead of seeing everything as rosy, we see the true nature of reality.
Exactly. It's about moving beyond duality and perceiving the unity that underlies the apparent diversity of the world.
Sounds like a mind-blowing experience.
It is, and it leads to the 5th stage where the waking state is experienced as a dream.
Wait, what? Like, I'm walking around, but it's all just an illusion?
In a way, yes, the phenomenal world starts to dissolve like vanishing clouds, revealing the unchanging reality behind it.
Whoa. This is getting deep.
It is a profound shift in perception,
Yeah.
one that paves the way for the 6th stage, attaining the Turiya state.
Turiya state, that sounds like a faraway planet.
You could say that it's a state of pure awareness, completely devoid of ego and mental constructs.
Okay.
No more thoughts, no more worries, just pure being.
Pure being sounds incredibly peaceful, but is that even possible?
The Upanishad assures us that it is.
Wow.
And it's from this state of pure being that the final stage, Videha Mukti, is attained.
So after all this work, after these 7 stages, we finally reach Videha Mukti. What exactly does that mean?
Videha Mukti is ultimate liberation, freedom from the cycle of birth and death.
Wow.
It's the realization of the self as one with Brahman, the supreme reality.
Freedom from the cycle of birth and death, that sounds pretty final. What happens after that?
That's the beauty of it. It's beyond description, beyond our limited understanding.
Right.
It's the ultimate mystery.
A mystery indeed. And the Upanishad gives us the keys to unlock it. What a generous text.
It is, but remember the path of yoga is not for the faint of heart.
Right.
It demands disciplined dedication and a sincere yearning for liberation.
Well, after that deep dive into the stages of yoga, I'm feeling ready to trade my evening snack for some serious contemplation.
That's great.
But stay with us, listeners. There's more to uncover as we continue exploring the Aksa Upanishad.
You know, the Upanishad, it emphasizes this concept called mistaken attribution to the Atman.
Okay.
And it uses this really simple analogy.
Oh, I love analogies.
Yeah. So imagine a clay pot
Oh,
filled with water.
Okay.
Now, the pot represents our physical body, while the water inside symbolizes our true self, the Atman.
Okay.
And just as the pot can hold like various liquids, right? We experience like a range of thoughts, emotions, and sensations
Right.
throughout life.
So our experiences are like the different liquids in the pot, but they don't change the pot itself.
Exactly. Similarly, those experiences don't change the essence of the Atman. Okay.
It remains pure and unchanging.
Right.
The problem is we often make the mistake of identifying with the contents of the pot,
Okay.
those fleeting experiences, rather than recognizing ourselves as the pot itself, the unchanging Atman.
So we confuse the water for the pot, believing that the thoughts and emotions swirling within us define who we truly are.
Precisely, we get so caught up in that constant stream of experiences that we lose sight of our true, unchanging nature.
Right.
The witness behind it all.
It makes you realize how easily we fall into the trap of mistaken attribution every single day.
More often than we realize. But the beauty of the Upanishad is that it offers a way out of this trap.
Okay.
Through the practice of yoga and the cultivation of samadhi. Remember those 7 stages of yoga we talked about?
Oh, yes. We left off at stage 5, where the world starts to feel like a dream.
Right, exactly. So in stage 6, we enter the Turiya state,
Okay.
a state of pure awareness that transcends the limitations of our ordinary states of consciousness, waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. That sounds like a pretty exclusive club. What's the entry fee?
The price of admission is a deep commitment to self-realization.
Okay.
It's a state that goes beyond all dualities, you and me, self and other, where you experience the oneness of all existence.
Oneness of all existence. That's a pretty radical shift in perspective.
It is, and from this state of unity, the final stage, Videha Mukti, is achieved.
Okay.
This is the ultimate goal of yoga, complete liberation from the cycle of birth and death.
So we go from experiencing the world as a dream to merging with the ultimate reality. It's a journey from limitation to boundless potential.
Exactly. That's why the Upanishad emphasizes the importance of right knowledge and the eradication of falsana,
Okay.
those past impressions that cloud our perception.
Right.
Think of them like smudges on a mirror, preventing us from seeing our true reflection clearly.
So by purifying our minds and removing those limiting impressions, we can access the truth of who we really are.
That's the idea. The Upanishad is like a deep well of wisdom, offering insights that are surprisingly relevant to our modern lives.
Absolutely. It's like a timeless guidebook for navigating the complexities of human existence, speaking of modern life.
Right.
How can we apply these ancient teachings to our everyday lives?
Right.
Most of us aren't exactly meditating in caves.
That's a great question. One practical application is to become more aware of our attachments and desires.
Okay.
What are we clinging to that causes us suffering? Can we start to loosen our grip on those things?
So it's about cultivating a sense of detachment, not getting so caught up in the constant ups and downs of life.
Exactly. The Upanishad reminds us that true happiness comes from within, not from external circumstances or possessions.
Easier said than done, right? Our world is designed to constantly tempt us with new desires.
It is, but the more we practice turning our attention inward, the less power those external temptations will have over us.
The Upanishad also speaks to the importance of cultivating samadhi.
Right.
But reaching that state of deep meditation can feel daunting. How can we incorporate that into our busy lives?
Remember, it's a journey, not a destination. Start with small steps. Even a few minutes of meditation each day can make a difference.
Meditation, I've tried that, but my mind always seems to wander.
That's completely normal. The key is to be patient with yourself and keep practicing.
Okay.
Gently guide your attention back to your breath, a mantra, or the sensations in your body. Consistency is key.
So it's about creating that space for stillness,
Yeah,
even amidst the chaos of daily life.
absolutely. And if meditation isn't your thing, there are other ways to cultivate a sense of inner peace.
Oh, what?
Spending time in nature, engaging in creative activities, or simply practicing mindfulness throughout the day can all help to quiet the mind.
What does practicing mindfulness in daily life look like?
It can be as simple as paying attention to your senses while you're eating, noticing the sensations in your body as you walk, or really listening to someone without letting your mind wander.
Okay.
It's about bringing a heightened awareness to those everyday moments.
So it's about shifting our focus from the constant chatter of the mind to the present moment where true peace resides.
Precisely. The Upanishad teaches us that by turning our attention inward, we can tap into an inexhaustible source of wisdom and peace that's always available to us.
That's a truly liberating message. It means that true freedom isn't something we have to search for externally. It's something we can discover within ourselves.
Exactly. And as we cultivate this inner freedom, we naturally become more compassionate, kind, and loving towards ourselves and others.
That's something our world could definitely use more of.
Couldn't agree more. The Upanishad ultimately offers a message of love, unity, and the realization of our interconnectedness.
Yeah.
It all starts with the individual journey of self-realization.
What an incredible journey it is. We've learned so much from this deep dive into the Upanishad, but there's still more to uncover. Stay tuned for the final part of our exploration. Welcome back to the deep dive. We're wrapping up our exploration of the Upanishad, this incredible text that offers timeless wisdom for navigating the human experience.
It is. We've covered a lot of ground,
Really have.
from those powerful verses, the Kakumati Vidya, to the 7 stages of yoga, and the importance of recognizing that we are not our thoughts or emotions.
Right, we've even used analogies like the pot and water,
Oh, yeah.
which really help to illustrate the idea of mistaken attribution.
Analogies are powerful tools because they make abstract concepts more relatable and easier to grasp.
Speaking of powerful tools, the Upanishad highlights samadhi as a key to unlocking true knowledge.
Right.
But for those of us who aren't seasoned meditators, achieving that state of deep meditation can feel a bit daunting.
It's true that samadhi is a high state of consciousness, but remember, it's a process,
Right.
not an overnight transformation.
Yeah.
We can gradually cultivate that inner stillness.
So it's not about suddenly becoming a meditation master, but rather about incorporating small practices into our daily lives.
Exactly. Start with mindfulness.
Oh, yeah.
Pay attention to the present moment. Savor each bite of food. Feel the sensations of your body. As you move, these small acts can create a big shift.
It's about being present and engaged rather than getting lost in the whirlwind of thoughts.
Precisely as we become more mindful, we create space between our thoughts and our reactions.
Okay.
We become less reactive and more responsive. which brings a sense of peace.
Less drama. More peace sounds like a good trade-off.
Indeed, from that place of groundedness, we can observe our thoughts and emotions with more clarity and detachment.
So it's not about suppressing those thoughts and emotions, but about seeing them from a different perspective.
Exactly. The Upanishad reminds us that our true self is not those fleeting thoughts or emotions, but the silent observer, the one who witnesses without judgment.
That brings to mind another key, teaching the importance of eradicating those valsanas, those pesky past impressions that can cloud our perception.
Yeah, think of valsana as like dust on a mirror obscuring our true reflection.
Okay?
The practice of yoga is all about polishing that mirror, removing those impurities so our true self can shine through.
So how do we polish that mirror? What are some practical ways to deal with those deep-rooted valsanas?
The Upanishad provides us with tools like self-reflection meditation and the cultivation of positive qualities like compassion and forgiveness.
Self-reflection, meditation, compassion, forgiveness sounds like a pretty amazing recipe for a fulfilling life.
It is, and it's available to all of us, regardless of our backgrounds or circumstances.
That's great.
The Upanishad emphasizes that the path to liberation isn't exclusive. It's open to anyone who sincerely desires to awaken to the truth.
That's a powerful message because it means we all have the potential to experience the freedom and bliss the Upanishad speaks of.
Absolutely. And the journey begins with a single step. A commitment to turning our attention inward, to exploring the depths of our own being.
Right.
The Upanishad is a timeless guide that can light the way.
As we conclude our deep dive into the Axi Upanishad, I encourage you to consider how you can apply this ancient wisdom to your life today. What practices can you incorporate to cultivate more stillness, clarity, and compassion? The journey of self-discovery is a lifelong adventure, and the Upanishads offer invariable guidance along the way. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.